Welcome back, everybody, to a behind-the-scenes look of Arby and the Chief, my machinima/puppet show, which I write, direct, and produce. This is part 2 of 2, and we'll pick up where the first left off at the filming process. I've been working at achieving a foolproof production process for a long time now, like a personal formula that guarantees the best I can achieve with an episode, but my process is always changing a little bit. Between now and part 1 of this behind-the-scenes video, I've started to write my scripts a lot differently. For a long time, I've been writing my scripts as close to the industry format as possible, being pretty conservative with technical descriptions and stuff like that. Now every single block of text describing action or visuals will be a full shot description, including where I want the camera to be and how I want it to move. And I visualize the map and the limitations of the game and determine whether or not that shot's going to work. The scripts are a bit longer now. The script for Severance came out at 35 pages, but now I know precisely what I want when I'm capturing the footage, and I can get it done quicker. It also saves me from typing out a shot list separate from the script, which I did before. It saves me time and more tedious work. In this high-def 3D era, a lot of people are asking me why the show still looks like shit after all these years. Many of those people think I film with a standard definition camcorder, which isn't true. I film in high definition with a Canon Vixia, which, at the time I bought it anyway, was one of the highest quality consumer level camcorders you could get. The episodes are rendered in standard definition, however, at 360p for a number of reasons. One is to keep the file size small and make my submissions as prompt as possible. Another is that I can only record game footage at standard definition anyway. I use a high definition video recorder for it, but for whatever reason its software tends to glitch on my computer when I record in high def. Another is that I don't have the hard drive space to store high def video. I don't have an office or anything with industry level equipment, just my sad workstation in my bedroom with whatever affordable hardware I've gotten by with throughout the years. This is the part where my apparent mental age regresses about 20 years. The live action filming, the part that I'm embarrassed to talk about to this day. I know most fans of the show respect the live action puppeteering, and I try to make it look as good as possible on camera, but if you were to pull out the camera to see me in the frame lying in all the weird positions I have to put myself in, I'd look fucking ridiculous. It can get pretty tedious and put me out of breath sometimes. I'm always shifting around into different positions, and I hold my breath during most shots for stability, since I'm usually puppeteering with one hand and moving the camcorder with the other. The one aspect of it I do really enjoy, though, is composing the shots. I like well-composed images, and I think I've developed an eye for it over the years I've been doing this. When I'm filming, I sort of think of the episode as a comic book or a graphic novel now, in which every panel would be carefully drawn. The only difference is that my lighting usually sucks dick, but that's only because there's so much else to do, and lighting every shot properly would make this part of the process painfully longer. The next step is to boot up the game and build all the film sets that I need in Forge mode. Mind you, anybody who watches my stuff probably knows that I can't really build anything in Forge worth a fuck. Most of the time, building sets just consists of placing weapons in vehicles where I need them to be, and using the maps that are already available to their full advantage instead of constructing my own environments, but occasionally the written situation will call for it, and I'll build Adam's suspended vehicle track or Trent's church from Season 5, which is basically just a giant fucking box, so case in point, I'm not very creative in that aspect. I'm meticulous with the alignment of all the pieces, but I don't have a clue when it comes to building something visually appealing. Once I have the sets, I'll plug in 4 controllers, sign into 4 profiles, and customize them all for whatever scene I'm working on. I start a local custom game, load up the maps, bring up my script/shot list on my laptop next to me, and perform every action and movement required for each character one at a time. The way the footage is eventually edited will make it look like there's a lot more happening at once than there actually is. People have asked me why I don't just enlist the help of fans online to perform as the characters. I've gotten plenty of offers, which I'm grateful for, but I'm very resistant to it for a number of reasons. For one, I can't take the risk of there being any lag that would ruin the shots. It has for me many times in the past. Second, working offline gives me the benefit of being able to pause and actually freeze the match, whereas if you're playing online, if you pause, the match will still resume, obviously, since you can't pause the game for other people. It's beneficial because after every action I perform, I can freeze the game and figure out the next one, which means there's a lot less gameplay to sift through when I'm capturing the footage, which is awesome because it's tedious enough and takes forever as it is. Third, no matter how professional people claim to be, you get a group of people together on a game where the objective is to shoot each other, with a major incentive to mouth off, people get rowdy. It takes a while, but it's overall a lot easier to do everything myself, and that way I also have the highest amount of control over how the shots are going to look. Jesus fucking Christ. Fuck off. Thank God for that. When all the gameplay films are done, I'll load them up in theater mode and start going through my shot list again, framing the shots and capturing all the footage I need. Again, I find cinematography really interesting, so I enjoy this part of the process, composing all of the shots and making them look nice. I'm pretty meticulous with it. The last stage is the editing, which I'm really torn on when it comes to deciding whether I enjoy it or not. On one hand, it's really exciting because this is the part of the production where all the assets come together into a final watchable product, and often it ends up taking a life of its own and never coming out quite how I pictured it initially in my head. So it's always interesting to see how it's all turned out in the end. On the other hand, it requires so much work that it doesn't take long for me to get bored with it, and it always takes a lot longer to edit episodes than I initially estimate. You'd think I'd have a good idea of the amount of time required to edit each one by now, but for whatever reason I still have a terrible judgment when it comes to guessing. I'll be like, oh, I can probably get this finished up in about 8 hours, and then render it out 26 fucking hours later, just before my deadline, feeling like dog shit. Send it off to Machinima, and then just collapse in the bed for a full day. Rinse, repeat. The first thing I do is go through the voiceovers, normalizing all the levels and cutting them up. This part in particular is pretty tedious because I'm basically repeating the same keystroke for like 5 or 6 hours. Cutting the voiceovers, cutting and writing all the subtitles for Arbiter and Master Chief's voices, and cutting all the working clips from my footage. The subtitles aren't automated. Every field of text is individually written and placed over each corresponding voiceover clip. And then to write Chief's subtitles, I basically have to regress to the mindset of an illiterate 6-year-old, which is not very hard for me. Every single time, about halfway through, I feel like killing myself and sit by the window for a smoke, wondering how the hell I'm going to possibly make the deadline for the current week. I also get depressed, having spent so much time with the episode that all I can see when I play it over for the millionth time is a piece of shit with an infinite amount of things wrong with it. Unfortunately, I can never really enjoy anything I make after it's done because all I can see it as is a million pieces held together as opposed to a whole package. And all I can think of is all the shortcomings, everything that's missing, everything that went wrong while making it, wishing I had written better dialogue, and so on. After the depressive period, it gets finished up. All the elements are thrown together at a pace I think is appropriate. The episode is rendered and submitted, Machinima takes it, throws it on YouTube, and then I get to hear what everybody thinks of it, which is what makes it all worthwhile in the end. When I read all of the comments, whether they're good or bad, although they're mostly good nowadays, which is great, I get a rush of motivation to develop the next episode and aim to make it even better than the last one. And then it's back to that thing called paper. Thanks a lot for watching my behind the scenes video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it and some of you found it insightful in some way. Thanks for all your emails and your patience regarding the slow releases of the story episodes, and please stay tuned. Until next time.